When you give, you actually fire serotonin in your body and you get a chemical reaction that increases your happiness. And here's the neat thing. At the same time, it helps to lower your cortisol, and that's our stress hormone. So automatically we're increasing our happiness and we're decreasing our stress. Now that serotonin can be also fired and wired in many different ways in our life. You could go shopping. Okay, you go buy yourself a new pair of shoes, a new outfit. Serotonin can also fire at the same time. You could get together with friends and have an evening out, or go have some time together. You can fire off your serotonin. So there's lots of different emotional connections that we can have in the world that can fire that off. Now, the thing about happiness is, and we all know this, is that you can have a happy moment and in the next breath, it can also be gone. And it ebbs and flows through our life. So it's more like the waves in the ocean where happiness can come and go at any given time, depending on how that serotonin is fired. You could have a happy little moment because an old friend has called you on the phone, and in the same breath, or the minute you get off the phone, your kid is driving you crazy and your stress hormone goes up, and all of a sudden that happiness feeling is. So for me, happiness is that wave that comes and goes. But here's the beautiful thing, and we'll talk about this today as well, is that you can learn how to create that in your life too. You can learn to fire off your serotonin in healthy ways that are really good for your body. For me, joy is a deeper sense. Joy is a feeling that you and I were sitting here right now. I always now feel this underlining, I call it a vibration of joy that runs through my life. So I have less of the highs and the lows in my life because I've cultivated this underlining vibration of joy in my life. So my mind is more peaceful. I don't get triggered by stress and anxiety as much in my life anymore. I am calmer in more ways in my life. So this is the joy to me, that when you practice happiness, you find the ways to turn on your happiness switch in your own life. You're practicing it every day. It's almost like you've raised up a level in your own life so that joy is always vibrating around. It's just kind of there for you. You have less big waves and much, much less bigger crashes on the other side as well. And you've now given yourself this just underlining, it's always there. You can always tap into it, this feeling of just calm, peace, and joy in your life.
And that calm, peace, and joy and serenity brings harmony to your world. And therefore, you're able to show up in every interaction in such a beautiful way to receive, to be an inspiration, to basically bring more gratitude and joy to others as well. So share with us how the evolution on your side in terms of finding that constant inner peace and joy has transformed your life.
So many ways I can't even begin to tell you, but I think one of the things that I realized, and just so everyone knows, when I started doing this project with my son, I had no idea. I'm not a neuroscientist. I'm not a researcher. I'm not any of these things. This is really part of my journey to my own happiness and stepping into that happiness every single day. And it really became that practice for me. But it took me 365 days to realize on the other side of it, what I had really cultivated in myself. If I had probably been a little bit more intentional, a little bit more mindful and understood it a little bit more, it would have been a completely different journey. So it's why I encourage it in people now, that if you can start a happiness practice for yourself, go and take a look at your own life. And I did this for myself, where I actually started a happiness box so that I knew how I could create happiness, and not by going to the mall and going shopping. I knew I can create, and I still do today. I can walk out to my garden and find happiness in a flower. I can find happiness in watching a bee fly around my garden. I can get the joy out of watching a butterfly float through the trees. I can get joy in just sitting and listening to the birds sing. And I can start to turn my happiness switch on for myself in finding the gratitude in that. Because what we know about gratitude is it also increases our happiness as well. So I can also do this with music. I use my phone, which for most people tends to be quite destructive in their life. I use it as the opposite. I use it as a tool for my happiness. I have happiness playlists. I make sure that my algorithms on my phone, so what shows up in YouTube and Instagram and all of the other sources that I may use, they only show up positive aspects for me. So I don't have anything that shows up for me that's negative. And if it does, I use it as my beautiful indicator of going, what am I consuming right now? What am I bringing into my life? What am I listening to? And I know that I have to change those algorithms in my life to create more happiness and joy again. So I have set myself up for success, happiness, success in as many areas of my life as I can, because as soon as I'm aware, and it's not that I'm the first person. It's not that I don't have stress. It's not that I don't have moments where I'm having down days and difficult days in my life. I have those too, but I've become more aware of how to shift out of them. I'm more aware of my emotions and where they sit at any given moment of the day. And I know when I need to make a course correct. And I have the tools in my toolbox to be able to do that. So these are all of the things that we can all create within our own lives. I know I can go for a run down by the ocean or a walk in nature. I can meditate if that's what I need to. I can sit quietly. I can exercise. I have so many tools that I can use. And what I know for sure is I can give. And making that connection with others, making connection to the planet or to animals, that brings me to happiness every single day of my life. So it's the awareness that I've created in my own life of where am I at? That's emotional intelligence. Where do I feel in my day right now? Can I increase my happiness? Do I need to? Am I doing well today? Or do I need to create some shifts because I've got a little too much stress. I'm too busy. I'm not creating the space for myself. Because when I'm happy, guess what? Everybody else around me is happy too. And then we start feeding off of each other.